And they are doing that prior to the march.
You also need You also need to present it to the House of Representatives.
Good point.
Because the Republic, there are three branches of the federal government: executive, legislative, and judicial.
Right.
Okay. No bill is now. Biden can do executive orders. No bill can pass the House of Representatives without 218 votes, and you have, if I remember correctly, 222 Republicans in the House. Okay. Kevin McCarthy is the Speaker. A bill can't come to the House floor for a vote or debate without the permission of the Speaker. Okay, so we this 2022 midterm election, even though Democrats could have lost a lot more seats in the House, because typically the party that is in the White House loses seats in Congress. The difference is only a 5-seat difference between Republicans being in control of the House of Representatives and Democrats being in control.
Right now.
Okay,
Absolutely.
It came down to about 7,000 votes in a handful of House districts. That made the difference between spineless Kevin McCarthy being Speaker of the House and somebody like Hakeem Jeffries,
right,
who would have pushed these bills, who's very intelligent, very articulate, a nephew, one of my teachers, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, one of our greatest scholars when it comes to African history and African American history. That's the difference.
But that's the importance. That's why your vote counts and matters.
Absolutely.
Your vote matters.
Absolutely. If our vote didn't matter, Republicans wouldn't work so hard to suppress the vote. They wouldn't file these lawsuits and take them to the Supreme Court to gerrymander districts to lock us out of political power. You got to understand you got to go back and look what happened after the Civil War ends, and look at 1868 when Florida writes their state constitution, and they write into the state constitution felony disenfranchisement laws. Okay, we see this starting in Florida. So if you were convicted of a felony in 1868, you would lose your right to vote for life. They were targeting African Americans. African Americans were 48% of the population in the state of Florida in 1868 as a result of slavery. Florida is a former Confederate state. Okay, they took up arms, committed treason against the U.S. government based upon Article 3, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution. And after slavery ended, they wanted to arrest African-American political power. They said they did this to prevent a Negro legislature. So they expanded the number of crimes that were classified as a felony, and they targeted crimes that they felt were that would target African-Americans, and this worked. So in 2018 in Florida, when you had activists like Desmond Meade and others who put on the ballot to restore voting rights to over 1 million former felons, it got something like 66% of the vote. It was overwhelmingly supported. Well, the Republican-controlled state legislature then comes back, and they amended, and they said you have to pay all of your fines and fees and things like this to get your voting rights back.
Right.
Then Ron DeSantis, what he does, he creates this Gestapo voter fraud law enforcement a group of officers to then go arrest people who were sent their voter registrations in the card in the mail and told that they can vote, ex-offenders. This is to scare people and target and arrest the political power of African Americans in Florida. So this is a continuation of what we saw during Reconstruction. Okay, so when you have a better understanding of this type of history, your understanding of politics is directly related to your understanding of history. A people's history and culture teaches them how to deal with the problems of the past, in the present, and the future to meet the needs of the community. So these are things that I teach in my online history class. I haven't talked about it yet today, but visit my website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. I teach 2 powerful 12-week online classes, one on Saturday, Ancient Kemet, one of the original names for Egypt, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. That class just started up last week. It's a 12-week online course, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Register there. It's a discounted price for that. You can also call me 313-462-0003, 313-462-0003, or email me at ahnshow, S-H-O-W, at theafricanhistorynetwork.com, ahnshow, S-H-O-W, at theafricanhistorynetwork.com. Or you can email me through the website. Then on Sunday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., I teach Black resistance movements from the Haitian Revolution, U.S. Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power Movement, 1800 to 1968, where we go through and look at this history chronologically and focus on this 168, 170-year period of history that brings us to where we are today, to understand what happened, what led to the Civil War taking place, 1861, 1865, understand the Reconstruction era, 1865, 1877, the Jim Crow era, the rewriting of laws, rewriting of state constitutions, the Great Migration in 1950, 1970, 6 million African Americans migrated from the South up north and out west, and then which totally changed this country. World War I, World War II, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power Movement, to understand how we got to where we are today, to understand where we need to go from here. So visit our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips. Everything is very visual, and the content is PG-13, so you can use this with your youth as well. I've been studying history 31 years. I'm a historian. I put together the curriculum for both of these classes, and understand the transatlantic slave trade. I've been teaching that on and off since 2017.
One more time in terms of the contact information.
Yeah, theafricanhistorynetwork.com is our website. You could do africanhistorynetwork.com as well. It'll forward you to the new website. Call me, 313-462-0003. 313-462-0003. Call me after the show. And also email us, because I'll respond to all emails. We'll get you registered today. AHNShow, S-H-O-W, at theafricanhistorynetwork.com. AHNShow, S-H-O-W, at theafricanhistorynetwork.com. And when you go to my website, we have video clips like previews of the class. You've never seen anything like this before. The amount of history that we deal with, there's about 80 to 100 articles that we deal with in the first class. In the first class I teach, there's 7 books that we reference. We show you that you don't have to buy any of these books. We show you the excerpts that we're talking about on the screen. And we deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. We go back 50,000 years ago. Deal with the African presence in the Americas going back 50,000 years ago.
This will lead up to the trade, not
absolutely. You have to understand that you can't start in 1441. Right. You got to deal with the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors that lead to Christopher Columbus setting sail August 3rd, 1492 on the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. You have to deal with December 6th, 1492 when he comes across the island of Hispaniola, or what the Taino call Quetzalcoatl, which means mother of the earth. He called it La Isla Española, the Spanish island. We know the western third of it is going to be the colony of Santo Domingo. The French take over the colony of Santo Domingo in 1697 from the Spanish and call it Saint Dominique. But those Africans, they are going to call it Haiti and have and they're going to have a slave revolt in 1791, and that leads to the Louisiana Purchase of 1803. This is why we start the class in 1800, and we start with the Haitian Revolution and the Louisiana Purchase of 1803, because those two events are related. France sells 828,000 square miles of land for less than 3 cents an acre for a total of $15 million to the U.S. because Napoleon Bonaparte was getting his behind kicked by those Africans in Haiti, and France was going almost bankrupt. So they sell this land to the U.S. so they could raise money to keep fighting the Haitians. This is how and this doubles the territory of the U.S. at the time, the Louisiana Purchase of 1803.
So my question is that why Haiti is being still punished?
They're being punished because they overthrew their oppressors. They didn't defeat just the French. They defeated the Spanish and the British as well, who were allies of the French. And one of the ways they did it is they reclaimed their African spirituality, which they call Vodou, which Europeans call voodoo.
Get out of here. Well, don't go anywhere. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. Stevie and I, along with Michael, will be back right here on 910 a.m. Super Radio Station.